Hello, Vanessa Green here, your natural solutions coach with Oils and Hope, and I'm coming to you on this beautiful Thursday morning here in rural Indiana. And today I want to talk to you about doTERRA's Lavender Essential Oil. It is one of the most popular oils probably on the whole planet. And it's also one of the most studied and researched essential oils on the planet. And I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about research a little bit later in this video. doTERRA is doing some really exciting stuff, and I'm going to nerd out just a little bit. But basically, let's just talk about lavender. doTERRA's lavender is sourced from Bulgaria and France. It is made up from the petals, the flowers of the plant that are steam distilled. And it takes about 3 pounds of that plant material to make up one 15 milliliter bottle of pure doTERRA oil. In contrast to that, I don't know how many of you have seen those commercials for the Glade plugins or Glade Essentials or whatever. I don't even remember. Airwick Essentials, I think it is. Excuse me. And they say how they have there's 80 petals in each bottle. And I'm like, big whoop. I mean, what's the rest of the bottle contain? You know, that's the deal. So, you know, doTERRA is all about purity, removing toxins from your home, getting toxins out of your daily lifestyle. And, you know, that's the whole thing. Toxins build up in our systems, and our systems just get overloaded with so many toxins. They're bombarding us from everywhere. Every single day of our life, there are some that we can avoid, and there are some that we can't avoid. So definitely when we can avoid, we should avoid. Okay, I digress. So you can also purchase the lavender essential oil in a 10 milliliter touch bottle. That touch bottle contains fractionated coconut oil, so it's already diluted for you, and it's just easy to use, ready to go. However, lavender essential oils is one of the most mild oils. Even though it's very potent, it's very mild, and it can be used neat. I'm not sure where that term came from, but that just means no dilution needed. I don't know if it's an acronym or what, but anyway, this oil can be used topically without dilution. Of course, you can always dilute. And really, dilution, all that means is it's spreading it out over a bigger area. Think of this. Think about, you know, a woman's high heel shoe, and all that pressure comes down just on that one point from our weight. So when you put an essential oil on neat and you put one drop right there, it's concentrated in that one spot. And some oils, especially like oregano or thyme or lemongrass, those are hot oils, cinnamon oil. You don't want to just put one drop in one area. So when you use a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or jojoba oil or whatever kind of oil you want to use, and you use that one drop, it spreads it out over a wider area. So I hope that helps with that. It doesn't weaken it, it just kind of spreads that concentration out, so it's going to help with sensitivity. Also, another reason why you want to dilute would be when you want that oil to kind of stay in that localized area, that zone, those tissues, because when you add a fractionated coconut oil that's higher in fats, it takes longer to absorb. When you put essential oils neat right on your skin, they absorb just like that. So there's that little tidbit about dilution. So it can doTERRA's lavender essential oil can also be used aromatically. You can put it in a diffuser with water and let it just diffuse into the air, and you can breathe that in. Also, doTERRA's lavender can be used internally. On our bottles, and I do realize this is backwards, but we have essential, it's labeled as an essential oil supplement, safe for internal use. A serving size is 1 drop, and it will say about 1 drop for every 4 ounces of liquid. So that's the dosing serving size of an essential doTERRA lavender essential oil. Okay, in regard to dosing, I'm going to get into that, and doTERRA actually knows like the half-life of their lavender. So let's just kind of get into that. So you can use, I'll go back, sorry, lavender, doTERRA's lavender essential oil can be used for many things. I cannot legally list those things because those would be considered medical claims, and I don't have authorization to do that through the FDA. But what I can tell you is, and I'm reading from this Essential Life book, it's, I don't know who publishes it, but the top properties in doTERRA's lavender essential oil is that it's a sedative, it's an antihistamine, it's cytophylactic. I don't know what that means. Cyto. Maybe something with cells. I don't know. Hypotensive. It's a nervine or nervine. It's relaxing, soothing, antibacterial, and regenerative. And that's based on the fact that the main constituents in doTERRA's, and there's a reason why I keep saying doTERRA's lavender. doTERRA's lavender, the top two main constituents, there are many constituents in lavender, and that's another very important point that I'm going to be talking about. But the top two are linalool and linalool acetate. And I'm saying those where they sound the same, but those are two different words. Linalool and linalool acetate. Those are the top two main constituents in doTERRA's lavender, and that's how we can talk about those properties, because those constituents contribute to those properties. Now, with that said, I've got lots of notes here. I want to back up just a little bit, okay? Because there's peer-reviewed published papers now in a pharmaceutical publication. I don't know that I wrote it, but basically, you guys, doTERRA is the gold standard for essential oils. Let me just explain this to you. There is no governing factor for standardizing essential oils. There's no there's just no standards, okay? And so that's why doTERRA was born. doTERRA was created, this company was created and founded on the fact that they wanted to set a bar way up here, a high standard, and they were looking way into the future as far as what their goals were. I remember the very first doTERRA convention that I went to, that was in 2014, and I'm pretty sure it was at that convention. And I was just blown away by what I saw. It wasn't a rah-rah party. This was like science and all kinds of things. I was just like, you know, sitting there with my mouth open, and I'm like, what in the world has dropped into my lap? What, you know, because that's basically how I found doTERRA. It dropped into my lap. It was suggested to me. I didn't really know anything about essential oils back then. But anyway, I remember, and I'll never forget, I think it was Dave Sterling, who's the CEO. He's one of the founders of doTERRA and an owner, but he serves as the CEO. And he said, you know, other essential oil companies are not our competition, you know, and I could name, everybody knows different names of essential oil companies. He's like, they're not even our competition. We're not worried about other essential oil companies. Our competition that we're going to go after, not after, that's probably not the right word, but we're going, you know, pharmaceutical companies like Bayer, or, you know, I mean, I'm not going to name specific ones. I shouldn't have even said that probably, but that's who they're looking ahead into the future, that their competition, that's who they want to rival. They want to be in the same category as medicines, okay? And they're working hard to get towards that, and let's talk to that. So we've got, you know, they're doing everything in the right order. So in 2019, well, let's go back to 2018. Sorry, I've got all these little notes. I was frantically taking some notes and thinking and the order that I wanted to go into. But at the 2018 convention, we heard from some people from Roseman University. And honestly, I don't remember where Roseman is. It's probably in Utah, because it was kind of a local thing that they, you know, obviously they had heard of doTERRA. Most people, especially out there, although not everyone, has heard of doTERRA, and as well as other essential oil companies and actually other natural wellness companies come out of Utah. So unbeknownst to doTERRA, Roseman had been studying their oils along with some others for 2 years. And they brought their findings to doTERRA, and then they, you know, were allowed to introduce those findings to us at the 2018 convention. And basically the main takeaway from what Roseman University found, and you can find the videos on YouTube, and I will actually probably link them if I haven't already in one of my playlists on my YouTube channel here, probably under doTERRA Science. But what they decided was, what they found, not just decided, but what they found in their studies was that the doTERRA oil as a whole was better than a synthetic recreation. So, and it's believed that this is the first study of its kind that was ever done back in that time. And it's this, let me just read that. It's believed that Roseman was the first to do this study, utilizing the body's own biochemistry to characterize the quality of essential oils. So basically it was kind of like they figured out that our body is a lie detector of sorts. And again, this is the first of its kind to determine that our body can recognize a real doTERRA essential oil from a synthetic and how it acts. So Dr. Talbot, he, this is a direct quote from him, and he's from Roseman University. We found that each of doTERRA's oils and had quantifiable, can't read my own writing, and reproducible biological activity. To our surprise, however, was that we could not replicate the biological effects by breaking down the oil and administering its purified constituents in a sense. We tried to synthetically build identical essential oils with no success. So I thought that was pretty impressive, and that spoke to me quite a bit. Okay, so that's Roseman University in 2018, okay? Before this, doTERRA has started out with this whole co-impact sourcing model, and I'll do a whole other video on that because that's a whole thing in and of itself. But that's the doTERRA difference, their co-impact sourcing model, which allows them to do all these other things and be different. And now, I mean, it's really, really exciting. Okay, so that was 2018. In 2019, doTERRA brought in Dr. Russell J. Osgathorpe, otherwise known affectionately to us doTERRians as Dr. O. And he was brought in and he's an MD. He's the new chief, as of 2019, the new chief medical officer and vice president of medical and scientific studies. His background is as a pediatric infectious disease doctor, and we hired him to validate our oils through medical research. Okay, so we wanted an MD who appreciated and understood what that would take. So that was 2019. Okay, so he got to work very quickly. And so then, let's see here, I can put that one down. That was in February of 2019. By 2019, September, at the doTERRA convention, we met Dr. Ikhlas Khan, who is the director of National Center for Natural Product Research, and he's a professor of pharmacognosy at the University of Mississippi, which I had to look up this word, and pharmacognosy, or gnosy, pharmacognosy. That means it's the knowledge, let's see, it's a brand of knowledge concerned, I can't read my own writing, brand of knowledge concerned with medicinal drugs obtained from plants or other natural sources. See where we're going? See where we're going? So this was in 2019, and we got to meet Dr. Khan, and he spoke about what they do, how they're funded, who they employ, all their prestigious qualifiers, and then he told us where we're going and what they're going to do with doTERRA, which doTERRA and Dr. Khan's team will be essentially performing quality assurance analysis on all of our oils. Okay, this is very important to go further with research. Research has been done for many years on essential oils. The problem is and I would say, and I don't know that it was tried, but that research probably couldn't always be replicated because you didn't have apples to apples. If you got this brand of essential oils off of the shelf at Walmart, and then you got this brand of essential oils off of Amazon, and then you got another brand, doTERRA. Anyway, they're not all going to be the same. Or even if you bought that brand of essential oils from doTERRA, not doTERRA, but I'm sorry, my father-in-law is driving by on a golf cart, and it's a little distracting. I thought he might stop and talk to me. So anyway, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Consistency. It's all about consistency. That's what I'm trying to say. And they didn't have consistency to do repeated research and to further research. So Dr. Khan's team will be essentially performing quality assurance analysis of all of doTERRA's oils. Okay, they're going to verify doTERRA's consistency and purity from batch to batch and year to year. And this has been started with lavender and copaiba. Okay, so there's that. And this has to be completed before we can move on to clinical human trials, so it's been completed with lavender, and now they're moving on to copaiba. Okay, and then it's going to be repeated with all of doTERRA's oils right down the line. Okay, so and then I was happy to read that down there in Mississippi with Dr. Khan's team, they don't do any of their safety testing or testing on animals, so that was good to know. Okay, so all of this research is going through all the proper channels, and it's going to establish doTERRA as the only essential oil company to be trusted in medical settings. Okay, this will give doctors the confidence to prescribe doTERRA essential oils, and it'll give them the confidence to prescribe them to their patients because they're going to trust, because they're going to see, and there's no other essential oil company doing what we're doing. There's no other supplement company doing what we're doing. Okay, so just know that this is very cutting edge. This is history in the making, and this is very exciting. Dr. Russell Osgothorpe, at our last convention, which was just a few weeks ago in Utah, he spoke about and made the claim and said doTERRA is pharmaceutical grade. And what he meant by that, doTERRA has essentially cracked the code for consistency, and they've proven this with these studies. There's a study in some pharmaceutical journal, and I don't know if I wrote published in a peer-reviewed scientific literature in pharmaceutical journals, what I wrote down. And I think I have the name somewhere, or at least not. I have it on my computer, and I will link it in the notes below in this section. So doTERRA is closed. So this way they can do proper clinical research. You guys think about it. You have to have apples to apples to do research. So every time that a scientist wants to research doTERRA and they get a bottle, they want to know it's going to be exactly the same, so they can perform the same tests over and over and over. And so what has been proven, that after a 4-year study with lavender, doTERRA's lavender essential oil, 4-year study with 133 batches, over that span of time and that many batches, it was determined that there was less than a 2% deviation okay? Where's my note about that? Just to let you know, in medicine, when a doctor prescribes you a medication, and let's say they prescribe you 20 milligrams of, whatever medicine, fill in the blank, they know that by prescribing that 20 milligrams, there could be a 1 or 2 milligram deviation on the front end or the back end. It could be 18 or it could be 22 milligrams from batch to batch whenever they prescribe that to you. So that's just a known among doctors or pharmacists when they, medicines are allowed to have that deviation. And part of me thinks that I've heard that even like with generic, it may not even be that tight. Because when I was on, and maybe this was just something that the doctor told me, when I'm on medication, and the medication that I take is Armour thyroid, but the doctor really wanted me to take Synthroid, and because actually Armour I don't think is a generic, but when I did take Synthroid, they didn't want me to take the generic version because it wasn't going to be as tightly tight as the actual Synthroid. So maybe Synthroid, among their standards, they have, a small deviation, smaller than what generic. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing that's why, unless she just wanted to make money from Synthroid. I don't know. I have no idea, just saying that. So what they found was over these 133 batches over 4 years, there was a less than 2% deviation in all of doTERRA's lavender bottles from all of that time. That is pretty cool. That is groundbreaking. So Dr. O, a quote from him is, "We can rely on it like the sunrise." So medical professionals, clinical researchers, who may want to study it for whatever down the road, they're going to know that doTERRA is consistent, and that's very, 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 very important. Okay, there was another study that talked about how doTERRA's oils are absorbed better than synthetics. Again, that's kind of what Roseman came to us back in 2018. But there was a study with 40 participants. This was a human clinical trial, and it was designed to determine the optimal dosing of doTERRA's lavender. They were given matched doses of doTERRA whole lavender essential oil and matched doses of synthetic linalool, which is the main constituent. Remember, we talked about that, of doTERRA's lavender. I think it makes up over 40% or maybe even 60%, 40% of doTERRA's essential oil lavender is linalool. And so then it was just, and then they also were given just that same concentration of linalool by itself, the synthetic version. And it was determined that after blood draws, after these participants were given, and I honestly don't know. I don't know if I missed it. Like, did they take it internal, like orally, or was it injected? I'm not really sure. But the whole lavender was absorbed better, and it was almost twice as much that the linalool in the participants' blood that had the whole oil. The linalool was twice as much as those who were just given straight linalool. Isn't that amazing? It just makes me think of, there's just like these cascade effects in our bodies. You have to have A to make B to make C. That's just how our body works. For these different metabolic functions to happen, you have to have A, B, and C in place, or that it's not going to happen. For instance, for our bodies to make collagen, which, for our skin to keep it the elasticity good and all that, you have to have vitamin C. That's like a precursor. So in order for your body to make collagen, it has to have vitamin C. So if you're low on vitamin C, or you don't have any vitamin C stores in your body, you're going to make not as much collagen. You need collagen for you know, your ligaments and tendons and your skin and all the soft tissues and all that stuff. So anyway, it doesn't really surprise me that it works better as a whole. There's a synergistic effect of the whole oil versus just singling out the constituents. So this has never been studied before, and it's just really exciting, blah, 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 blah. So researchers, they're going to want and seek out doTERRA as their brand of choice because it's consistent, and so will medical professionals. And my notes are all over the place here, and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I think I've already said that. So, you know, with lavender, it's been completed. They're actually, so there's 5 parts to this whole study, the whole study as a whole. There was a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they've completed the 1, 2, 3 on lavender, and now they're working on the 4 and 5. 4 is a study on a novel delivery system for lavender. They wouldn't tell us what that is, but they're in the middle of doing that research right now of this novel delivery system. So could it be a patch? You know, I mean, novel. I mean, we've had creams. You can make a cream with lavender. You can make a pill, I mean, or a capsule. That's not novel. So I'm thinking it's something that hasn't been done before. And I'm thinking maybe a patch. My dog is not happy that I'm out here without her. So anyway, and then study 5 will demonstrate its efficacy in a medical environment. So doctors are going to start prescribing, so to speak, lavender. And I don't know if that's maybe going to be based on this novel delivery system. I don't know. It's exciting, and I hope to find out very soon. You know, but all this to just say that, you know, first of all, we're the only essential oil company out there doing this. No one else is doing it. No one else, frankly, can do it. And it's just so exciting. And not that I mean, that I care. I wish they all would do it. I mean, they all need to be, all of our products need to be consistent, you know, and maybe have a little fair competition, but really there's no competition right now. doTERRA is that far out above everybody else. So just, you know, be careful. Don't trust your family's health to just any old bottle of oil. You do not know what's in that bottle, period. You don't. You just don't. And even if it's, you know, something that you brewed from your backyard and you know what's in it, I'm sorry, but the potency is not going to be the same. It's just not. And again, that's based on this co-impact sourcing. And it goes, there's from, you know, the way the plant is grown, the way it's distilled. There's a science behind distilling. You can't distill it at too high of a temperature or too low of a temperature. And that varies from oil to oil. You know, lavender may have to be distilled for this amount of time. Excuse me, no longer than this amount of time at this temperature, you know, I mean, and if you do it for longer than that, you're going to break down those constituents. They start to break down. And if you don't do it for long enough, maybe you don't get all of the constituents out that you can. Well, doTERRA has, they've mastered it all. So, you know, I'm excited. Follow along with me. Follow along with doTERRA to see where this is going. It's just super exciting to break out. You know, we're not competing with other essential oil companies. We're just not. We're you know, going into a different stadium with a different ball, and we're playing a whole new game here, folks. So I hope that's as exciting to you as it is to me. I think I covered all of the information. That was a lot of information. Thanks for hanging with me. And I look forward to bringing you more exciting science and more excitement. And I hope this helps you to know how doTERRA is different. And when people say it's the best, you can know that it's the best. I mean, according to Verify Markets, I don't really understand. There's some kind of a research firm, but they follow markets, and you know, we're the leader in, as far as the essential oil market. doTERRA is the leader according to Verify Markets. So I'm not just saying it, you know, different scientists are saying it. And it's just neat, the partnerships, the people that are coming to want to work with doTERRA. It is super exciting. Of course, I'm a nerd. I love all that stuff. But just know, doTERRA oils are pure. They're safe for your whole family, every age, even your animals and pets. Don't be afraid. When you see things online about essential oils, and don't ever take them internally, and don't ever use them with your pets. That's based on old knowledge, old science, the old arena that all the other essential oil companies are over there playing in. That's them. We're over here. We're in a new arena, playing a new game, and I'm excited to be in that game, and I hope you join me and follow along. And I'm happy to help you with any essential oil question that you have. If I don't know the answer, I'll let you know, but then I'll try and help you find that answer, okay? And as far as any natural solution, whether it's for your gut health and probiotics and enzymes and all the things, I love it, and I'm excited to help you, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future. Okay, bye.